For those of you who believe that you are younger and so do not need to get vaccinated because your chance of getting severely ill or needing ICU care is low, you should note that those infected with COVID-19 and even between the ages of 60 and 69 years carries a higher risk of needing oxygen supplementation, ICU care, or dying. That risk is 27.8% if you're unvaccinated versus 2.1% if you're vaccinated. And that means you are 13 times more likely to have these requirements, needing higher care, needing ICU care, or even dying if you are not vaccinated. And if I only look at those who required ICU care or who passed away, you have a risk of 8.2% of getting into this situation if you're unvaccinated and only 0.3% if you're fully vaccinated. And in other words, you have a 27 times greater relative risk of needing ICU care or dying if you're aged between 60 and 69 years and unvaccinated compared to vaccinated people in the same age group. There are some who look at the figures and say that, well, the absolute numbers of those who have been vaccinated appear to be greater than the numbers who are unvaccinated and are in hospital. That is true, and this is because the total numbers of people who are vaccinated in Singapore is far greater than the remaining people who are unvaccinated. And therefore, even if that risk of getting infected, needing hospitalization among those who are vaccinated is low, in absolute numbers, that number may still be higher than the number of those who are unvaccinated and infected in hospital. But if you look at some figures, for example, if you look at the proportion of those who are unvaccinated and vaccinated in the ICU over the entire population, then you end up with numbers very similar to what I described earlier. 3 per 100,000 unvaccinated versus negligible numbers. When you round it off, it's almost 0 per 100,000 vaccinated being in that similar situation. So please don't be complacent and assume that your younger age sufficiently protects you from not needing vaccination. It doesn't, particularly if you have chronic medical conditions like diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, chronic lung conditions, cancer, or if you're immunocompromised, or if you're even obese. Tragically, we have seen people delaying vaccinations because they were complacent and thought they would not fall sick, only to find themselves not only infected, but also in the ICU. Others have thought that their beloved seniors were protected by staying at home and not needing vaccinations. The facts show otherwise. So if you're still remaining unvaccinated, I strongly urge you to step forward and get vaccinated now. We have made it easier for you to do so, and now also provide you with a greater choice of options with the PISA approval from HSA and the endorsement from our expert committee for COVID-19 vaccinations for the Sinovac vaccine.